Hello and welcome to a Star Citizen roadmap update, the first of 2023, and it focuses on Alpha 3.19 and the various changes Cloud Imperium are making with the publish of this patch. And we're also going to be talking about the expectations for its extended patch cycle and future updates. Cloud Imperium Games said, the upcoming release of Alpha 3.18 brings important advancements of technology behind Star Citizen. The highlight of this update is persistent entity streaming, which represents a monumental effort from our engineering teams. We are eager to share this update with more players soon and are thrilled about the improvements it will bring. To ensure server and client stability in Alpha 3.18, both before and after launch, our team has decided to extend the 3.18 branch for an extra patch cycle. This will allow us to address any issues that may arise. As a result, the next patch update following the release of 3.18 will come before Invictus launch week and will feature a variety of new and exciting content you can read about below. Although this update will be designated Alpha 3.19, it will be built on the 3.18 codebase. Our production teams are currently evaluating the feasibility of integrating originally planned 3.19 content into the 3.18 branch. The items we are adding to the release view today are subject to change and additions. Nonetheless, we wanted to share our tentative goals for now, with potentially more updates, changes, additions coming in roadmap updates ahead. So what's going to be included in this initial 3.19 build? Well, the Lorville 2.0 cityscape. They are reworking Lorville skyline to better fit the scale of the city and its distinctive buildings. So we saw some of these updates recently. They are over doubling the size of that city. They're putting buildings everywhere that you can land on top of. There's a huge amount more detail to the buildings. You can fly really close to the city. There's very few, if any, restrictions. It's going to be set up for delivery missions and all that sort of jazz as well. They're also going to be pushing out the new player experience, an initiative for improving the initial first 30 minutes of gameplay experience, which will help players understand the context of the world and introduce them to some of Star Citizen's basic features. This update focuses on the experience in Area 18 and Bajani Point. Thought that was an interesting choice of starting area, seeing I think that they're going to need to update the Area 18 and the whole of ArcCorp with new city tech at some point. I would have expected them to actually put that at Lorville. So that, we've got the new landing zone here. Let's improve that with the new player experience. But being able to play Star Citizen without the need for a tutorial that you have to access externally, yeah, that would be a great addition to the game. That'll make the game significantly more accessible for people that just want to jump in and see what Star Citizen is all about during like a free fly or something. There are new missions, salvage contracts. With more civilian access to salvage ships, contract brokers are offering salvage jobs for derelicts around Lagrange points around Stanton. These brokers charge a fee for their services, so will require some buy-in, but the contractors are free to keep any salvage material for resale. So this is basically going, I want to buy the location of where there is salvage. You can buy that as a mission, then you can go there and you can go and salvage it. New missions. Ghost Hollow PvP mission, adding a new mission type to the Ghost Hollow point of interest in the Stanton system, making use of the comm array as well as the AI nav mesh. This mission type will create PvP encounters where players will need to fight for control over terminals for a chance at a big credit payout. So unfortunately, the roadmap at the moment is pretty light, and Cloud Imperium said due to some format changes to the data we use for the progress tracker, our update for both upstream and downstream teams in 2023 needs a bit more time to get sorted. You can expect these updates to come in subsequent publishes. So no additional sort of progress tracker updates at the moment, and that sort of list of features for 3.18, it's pretty bare bones at the moment. But what else could we see in 3.19 in its initial release? So I'd originally thought that Cloud Imperium were going to just run a 3.18.x patch as the end of Q1 patch, which sort of they have now with the news about 3.19. It's built on the 3.18 branch, but we're likely to get some more meaty sort of features for that patch cycle 3.19 during Q2, Q3. It's possible that Cloud Imperium decide to make a patch called 3.20 before they release 4.0, because that's what we're going towards. We're going towards the 4.0 release, and Cloud Imperium are trying to fit in everything they can, be it low-hanging fruit, prerequisites, features that just fit in before we get to that 4.0 release as they build up towards server meshing and pyro and all that jazz. So let's talk about some other stuff that we could see in that initial 3.19 release, or some bits that might be sort of end of Q2 as part of 3.19, and that's new derelict ships. Cloud Imperium are going to continue to sort of add more and more derelict ships into the game, making all the currently flyable ones into derelicts for points of interest, for missions, all that sort of jazz. Also, in regards to points of interest, we know that Cloud Imperium are building up settlements using sections of sort of scrapped and destroyed ships to be built into habs and buildings at those settlements too. So I'm very much expecting to see those sort of things for that initial 3.19 release. Bounty Hunting 2.0 is another feature that Cloud Imperium are sort of, that they've been building on for a while, sort of the tracking of NPC and player targets around the verse based on where they were last seen, potentially the ability to take that sort of body back and get a reward for it. And this could be you sort of have to track them to a space station and get them when they're on foot. It doesn't necessarily have to be you get them when they are flying around. There's also cargo updates, so expect to see 32 SCU large cargo containers, potentially ship-scale tractor beams, all getting added to the game pretty soon. The SRV and the Hull C. So that SRV obviously is that big tractor beam ship, and the Hull C, we know it is almost ready, and that will make use of tractor beams and the 32 SCU cargo crates, sort of bringing a lot more meat to that cargo gameplay. Cloud Imperium have also been working on Arena Commander updates. They are trying to refresh and revitalize the Arena Commander mode and bring all of the racing tracks that are going to be in 3.18 into the actual Arena Commander modes. They're adding a new map with Jericho Station as a dogfighting map. Expect a load of other feature additions and tweaks there as well. Vulcan integration, that's very likely to come with the initial release of 3.19, or at least soon after. That's going to bring a load of additional frames and performance updates to people's PCs, but also potentially, and hopefully in the first iteration, some of the modern conveniences of sort of different graphics options that most games have. So you can expect various ships and vehicles to also be released throughout that patch cycle. Beyond that, we may well have another 2 or more 3.19.x patches after that initial release this year. So we could see even more ships and features there. So even more flyable ships and vehicles, some entirely new ones. The Spirit series, that's likely to be released. Salvage munching, so the next iteration and evolution of salvage, taking larger chunks of ships and then compressing them down. Times and costs associated with loading and unloading cargo. That's very much likely to come later this year. Taxi gameplay, so we've obviously got the E1 for the Spirit series, and Cloud Imperium have previously talked about having taxi missions where you literally are transporting an NPC or NPCs around the verse. Star map updates. Cloud Imperium have been working on star map updates for a while for Squadron 42. They will drip down into the persistent universe at some point. Star map updates is more of hope than anything else for later this year, and it's sorely needed in the persistent universe. Resource management system. So the initial release of this could very much be something we see as part of the 3.19 cycle. It would probably just be the Hammerhead and Hull A for the initial release. So this is the circuitry of ships. This is sort of power relays, damage control, and a load of other systems tied into that, potentially with even like gravity control and life support systems. But yeah, this allows for engineering gameplay and a true multi-crew experience. There's also things like persistent hangars that might turn up. Cloud Imperium have been working on persistent hangars and persistent habs for a while now, but to what extent we're going to be getting them in-game and when sort of remains a mystery. They keep on hinting that they're going to be sort of putting something persistent hangary in, though at the first iteration expect it just to be sort of more of a separation of UI and that sort of stuff, so that you have an elevator that takes you to your hangar at a landing zone, and then you can just store more stuff there. It would be pretty basic, is what I'm trying to say. There is a huge amount more coming, but this year looks to be mostly dominated by the 3.18 branch, just under the name of 3.19. That should make for a much more stable and hopefully accessible game, but how long are we going to be waiting for 4.0? That patch is likely to be super complex, and that's going to need more testing than 3.18 ever did. Really interested to know what your thoughts are on that. Off on a bit of a side note, there was a Mexican Super Bowl ad I saw on YouTube for Network Azteca 7. So this had the tagline of "out of this world," and in the ad, they appeared to be flying around in something that looks an awful lot like the RSI Galaxy from Star Citizen. There are a couple of different markings, but to me at least, it looks like it was lifted straight from the concept art. I don't know if it's by a CIG artist or just influenced or inspired by one. I'm not sure what's happened there, but it is quite funny. At least I know what the Galaxy looks like now when it flies around. It's a concept ship, after all. I won't put the ad in here in its entirety or anything, just some of the still pictures, but go watch it yourself if you are interested. Boom, that's it for your roadmap update this time. What do you think will be in Alpha 3.19? Its initial release and its sort of Point X patches as well later in the year. When do you think we're going to see Alpha 4.0? Do you think it's a possibility we could get Eva Carti by the end of the year? Do you think that's something that's going to be very much dominating 2024? What features are you hoping to see this year? Do you think that ship looks an awful lot like the RSI Galaxy? Or not? My eyes deceiving me? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.
That's the last chevron locked in, Mr. Daniel Jackson, who is legally distinct from any doctors of the same name. We've done it. We've connected to another world. Daniel Jackson, we're being hacked through the gates to the stars, which is also legally distinct from any other gates that travel to the stars. We should have got NordVPN, Daniel Jackson. We would have been able to browse the internet safely, accessed our favourite content on Netflix, and we would have been able to have privacy. We would have had less of these Egyptian-looking snake people attacking us too.
You should check out nordvpn.com/BoredGamer and get yourself a great deal on NordVPN. Just click the link in the comments section below. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For February, it's for a Crusader Spirit C1, the very cool looking multi-crew, multi-role competitor to the Cutlass Black and Freelancer. As it's a concept ship, you'll get a Cutlass Black until it's made flyable. You'll get lifetime insurance with the ship and a game package for Star Citizen 2, so all you need to play. Just comment on any of my videos made during the month to be in for a chance of winning that. If you would like to further support the channel, then consider becoming a Patreon or using that join button under my YouTube videos to become a channel member. It goes a massive way to helping us make videos every day, and you'll get some exclusive content from me and Zinnia from time to time too. Become a BoredGamer today!